long story short, still super bullish on PayPal. Got great expectations for them in 2025 and throughout 2026 as well. I'm not sure I'll be holding super long term on this one, as initially this was a return to the kind of median play on me. It got way too undervalued, but I'm very excited to see how the ads business rolls out on this one. You can check out my full thesis on my website, thecraftytrader.com. Other than that, in this video we'll talk about the daily and weekly price action. We look at that to figure out where to trim and where to add, basically within our risk tolerances. As well as that, we'll take a look at the open options interest. We'll see what the big boys are doing in the market makers. We'll take a look at some PayPal news, and my live portfolio is linked below in the link to eToro, and it's also on the screen there for you. Jumping straight into the PayPal chart, obviously we've had this really big pullback. Let's have a look how much. So we had the double top, quite a clear signal. Probably should have taken out more, but I was more interested in the more volatile stocks, the high beta stuff. PayPal is pretty slow, doesn't move a lot, so being down kind of to where it is now, about 26%, it's not really worth niggling around taking stuff off the table. I've just basically added on the pullback after I've made the big deposit. Dog hair on my hat, apologies. So I've added quite aggressively on this little volume shelf here. Suspected it wouldn't hold too much. It's not as strong as the one below it, which is kind of starting here, but it ends at kind of 63, so I would put 63 as the low if we broke down again, with also potential to get back down to 59. I'd like to keep this at a large weighting still. I'm very confident that this is ridiculously underpriced. The market's just not respecting it. It's just not been exciting enough. There's other more exciting financial plays, like, well, not technically a financial, but more Robinhood, that kind of stuff. And then you've got all the other not really a bank, but the fintech stuff like New and all that good stuff. They tend to be moving more, but financials as well have taken a bit of a hit in general. Banks are looking not great without the repo stuff, so things are a bit tight there. I do think when QE comes in, these are going to start ramping up as well. The crypto stuff on PayPal has been really good with the stable coin. The investor day was actually, there was a lot on there. It was really interesting. It just made me more bullish, so I'm really happy to hold this one for a long time. Resistance to the upside again, that volume shelf there, 71.68 is going to be a good one. Also lines up with this historic kind of resistance here and the gap fill, which has been acting as support and resistance for a while. Above that, again, kind of looking at this $77 area. We chopped around on that one. Ideally, I would have liked to have seen price stay over that because I've been in it for so long, but this one's just, it's been a little biatch. Excuse the language. It's frustrating, and I think that's why a lot of people have been selling out of it. But above that, then we've got the bull market band. It is bearish and it is quite chunky, but by the time we've reverted the trend and started moving to the upside, I think that'll thin back out and be easy to break and get above. I still think fair value for this is over $100 easy, so this is a steal deal. It's taking a bit of patience, but unfortunately a lot of people in the market these days don't have a lot of patience. Looking at the indicator RSI, it's cooked, man. That needs to come up. It's just this broad market pullback kind of helping things, although a lot of the big boys haven't fallen down as much as I think some people would have liked. But there's a lot of bargains out there this week. You could throw a stick anywhere and you could get easy winnings. I think people in pullbacks tend to overthink. You don't really need to overthink. Just pick some good quality stocks if you don't want to take too much risk. And if you feel a bit more risky, go for the stocks that you already had that are really good deals right now. So an example of that would be the miners. I think they're just ridiculously priced right now. Absolute panic. The market makers are loving it this week, let me tell you that. MACDX Plus, we're bearish on that. Institutions do look like they want to scale back in though, and flow is kind of negative. But if we go on the weekly, let's have a little ganders what we're looking with. Okay, so again, this looks like a really big cup and handle. I'd actually put on there big ass cup and handle. Measured move, I did put kind of gets us to $200, but I think that would be a bit lower, kind of launching from here. So would probably be about 196 where I've got that resistance line. Will I be holding PayPal that long? I don't know. I need to see more execution on the ads business, but for me, holding around currently to $124 to $150, depending on how things go, is probably where I'm at. This was always meant to be a swing trade. There's just really good basing pattern. I think when it takes off, it's going to take off really well. The company fundamentally is good. They're dominant. A lot of people don't believe that, but they're not looking at the numbers. The buybacks are insane. So I'm still really confident in this one. On the weekly, RSI is kind of fallen down. It could use a bit of a bounce, really. Why is that staying there? The MACDX Plus has been kind of looking really good, but it's sort of the green and the red line are converging. We don't like to see that. You want to see them, maxed out like they are back here, really at the top and bottom of the chart. We did get an overbought signal, which kind of looked like it triggered the drop. The overbought signals tend to be really, really good on this one. And we haven't had an oversold for a while, but I would expect to see one soon with the amount it's been selling off. Moving on to the open options interest for PayPal here. Obviously, these ones kind of expire on Friday, so take these ones with a pinch of salt. They're not going to be being hit. They're just kind of out there. I wouldn't use these kind of strike volumes as guides to where to put your targets in the short term. They are rather ambitious, and a lot of people won't be holding these to the strike price. But $75, a lot of volume there. A lot of people wanted it to bounce back there. It just hasn't done that. I guess the market's had a lot more downward pressure than people were expecting. Market makers want to hold this one above $65 and below 74, so price is going to chop around in that range unless there's some really dramatic news or the market has a massive sell-off, which I don't really think should happen. I don't see too much more downside unless things get real crazy, but never say never, right? Pushing out a week then. Still a lot more interest in getting a bounce out of this one, starting from $71 to kind of 85-ish. Let's look at the long dated ones because they're really more what you want to align your targets with, or at least be slightly under them traditionally. So January 2026, $95. There's a bunch of volume there. I can see why they picked that, kind of trying to get out before the psychological level at $100. But the open options interest for year end look pretty good, pretty bullish. I like that. I would expect to see them higher for January 2027. Yeah, getting a lot. We've still got the $95 and $100 kind of price targets, but then got a lot of volume at 130. So I think this trade's just been a lot longer than I expected and a lot of most people expected. It's not really had any excitement about it like other stocks that I'd bought that were really ridiculously priced. Not PayPal, Facebook, sorry, Meta, Hood, Palantir. Those stuff all got super hyped and they're super pumping, but also there's the risk reward there is not great right now. So I've had those ones. I've made my money with those ones, and I've kind of moved funds over to PayPal. I'm still really confident this one's going to work out. The investor day was a little bit light on the kind of ads business details, but there's a lot of other good stuff, a lot of stuff happening. It's just been slower to turn around than I thought it would be. But again, time is on my side. Time is my edge. I'm not leveraged into any PayPal options or anything like that. It was never going to be a high leverage, super exciting play for me. It was just a return to a sensible price, unlike other stuff which I did take leverage on. Not on eToro though, because I don't do that in that portfolio very often. But let's look at PayPal news. Okay, news-wise for PayPal, there's not too much interesting. As I say, it's not exactly a fast, exciting company. It's been slow to turn around, but there are some nuggets. Influential, he put this up and I thought it was quite relevant. Just basically a non-exciting, really lowballing expectation for PayPal if it grows. He just put in there little asterisks. All management need to do is reinvigorate top line growth. I mean, I think that's going to happen. I think that's a no-brainer. But the amount of growth that he's included in this price kind of analysis is very minimal, and his price target over the 5 years is $130. I think that's super modest, but even so, the kind of CAGR on that is above the average market return. So that it's easy money. It's a slow, steady eddy. I've reiterated that hundreds of times. It's not a high beta stock. It's not going to, double overnight. It's something nice, steady, stable, but better than market returns on average. I expect the market to do quite well overall for this year. Next year might be a different story, but we'll have to look into that when it comes. Kind of on the same note, Amir, he does quite a lot of really good analysis as well. He put PayPal will buy back all outstanding shares within 10 years at this rate. The buybacks on this one are ridiculous. They normally they'd be putting a kind of stable floor under price, but it's really not happened. People really don't give a toss about these buybacks. Apologies, I do realize I think I'm quite swearing quite a lot in this video. It's just one of those days, I think. But again, he's just saying reduced downside. And there was an e-commerce, not an e-commerce, a conference thing that was hosted with Alex talking a bit about it. Crossroads posted a few little nuggets from there. I didn't actually catch the whole thing because I've been busy. So the first one, he's just put on PayPal branded competition isn't degrading their market share. Aim is to inflect in the new integration and grow at or above e-commerce growth. I put this in my original PayPal thesis on my website, thecraftytrader.com. The rate in which e-commerce is growing is astronomical, and just to get some of that pie would be amazing. If they can grow above that pace, super bullish for PayPal, that is. And also he put when on the bottom, so this is talking about a new feature that they want to implement. It will say you qualify for free shipping with Amazon Prime. Think about all the other things we can put on the button as we start to bring our ads platform to bear and our rewards platform to bear. Again, so they're just talking about things to come. They're not quite there yet. This is what I'm waiting for. I was expecting to see more stuff hitting the tape by now, but it's just been really slow. But again, they're building it all into one silo. It's going to take time. They're not the kind of company that can move as fast as companies like Tesla. They have the staff that know how to move fast. This is a company that's been moving at a snail's pace and almost going backwards in some regard, and they've got to shift things over again. I mean, would have liked to have seen more staff turnover. That would have helped with this, but that hasn't happened. Hopefully it's coming. That's a wrap. If you like this content, give it a like, share with your mum, your nan, your dad, your gran, whoever, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.